Խանգարել։ Ինչի համար։ Գարուն էր։ Չեկած ամառ փուլ եկավ երկնակամար։ Ձյուն մաղեց մեր բաց գլխին։ Ձյուն մաղեց կրակի պես։ Գարունը ձյուն արել։ Գետերը մեր երերման հոսեցին երակի պես։ Արունը ջուրա դաղել։ Ձորերը շիրիմ դարձան, վիհերը գերեզմանոց, ջուրը մեր տունն ա տարել, ամեն քար լուռ մահարձան, ամեն տուն վարման հնոց, բնավեր հավք ենք տարել, ինչքան բար ողջը մրմունջ, ինչքան երկ ողջը լալով, զուլում էր, զուլում լաով, թրի դեմ, սրի հրի, լոկ մանգախ, լոկ բահում մարջ, տնավեր, բնավեր լաջ։ Մեր հողը, մեր հայրենին, մեր երկիրն ամայացավ, սև կապիր, սև սիրտ մարը, ինավուրց տոհմիկ միազգ չմեռավ, այլ մահացավ, գարունը, ձուն արել։
Գարուն էր, ամառ եկավ։ Ձակ հանես ձորում կակավ, իսկ հայը զրկվեց ձակից, իր պորտկան թոմրի տակից, իր հորից, մորից, յարից, իր տնից ու աշխարից, գառնարած հովիվ նախրորդ, հետ չեկավ սարձորերից, կեսորին էլով երկեր, սարերը հով չեն անում, իմ դարդին դարման անում։ Հենց որը արտում մորթվեց իր ձեռքի սուր մանգաղով։ Խեղճ արսել ոնց երկեր, քահ որին հաց եմ բերում, բերանը բաց եմ բերում։ Ձկնորսը վանածովում չփրկվեց ճարպիկ լողով։ Աղջիկը զուր էր կանչում իմ ծամթեր տան լողվորջում։ Երկրի մեջ մարդ չմնաց, մարդ թաղեր մարդու նման։ Ախ, մնար մեկը գոնե ու կանչեր դլե yaman։
Genocide was the systematic killing and deportation of Armenians by the Turks of the Ottoman Empire. In 1915, during World War I, leaders of the Turkish government set in motion a plan to expel and massacre Armenians. Today, most historians call this event a genocide, a premeditated and systematic campaign to exterminate the entire people. The Turkish government still does not acknowledge the scope of these events.
The Armenian people have made their home in the Caucasus region of Eurasia for some 3,000 years. At the beginning of the 4th century AD, for instance, it became the first nation in the world to make Christianity its official religion. But for the most part, control of the region shifted from one empire to another during the 15th century. Armenia was absorbed into the might Ottoman Empire.
At the end of the 19th century, the despotic Turkish Sultan Abdul Hamid II declared that he would solve the Armenian question once and for all. I will soon settle those Armenians, he told the reporter in 1890. I will give them a box on the earth which will make them relinquish their revolutionary ambitions. Between 1894 and 1896, this box on the earth took a form of state-sanctioned program.
In 1998, a new government came to power in Turkey. A group of reformers who called themselves the Young Turks overthrew Sultan Abdul Hamid and established a more modern constitutional government.
The Armenians were happy they would have an equal place in this new state, but their son Lawrence testified the nationalistic young Turks wanted most of all was to Turkify the empire.
In 1940, the Turks entered world warfare on the side of Germany and Austro-Hungarian Empire. At the same time, Ottoman religious authorities declared a holy war against all Christians except their allies.
On April 24, 1915, the Armenian genocide began. That day, the Turkish government arrested and executed several hundred Armenian intellectuals. After that, ordinary Armenians were turned out of their homes and sent on death marches through the Mesopotamian desert without food or water. The Young Turks created a special organization which in turn organized killing squads or patrol battalion to carry out the liquidation of the Christian elements. They drowned people in rivers, threw them off cliffs, crucified them and burned them alive.
They kidnapped children, converted them to Islam and gave to Turkish family. They raped women and forced them to join Turkish Hamras or serve as slaves.
There were about 1 million Armenians in the Ottoman Empire at the time of massacre. In 1922, when the genocide was over, there were just 388,000 Armenians remaining in the Ottoman Empire.
The term genocide was coined by Polish Julius Leon Raphael Lemkin in 1940, whose family was one of the victims of the Julius Holocaust.
Now we are in the memorial complex of Tzarnakaber, erected in Yerevan in 1967, commemorates the 1.5 million of Armenians died during the first genocide. The 20th center commemorated by the Turkish government. The memorial became the place of pilgrimage and an indivisible part of architecture of Yerevan.
While the Turkish government and allied scholars have admitted that deportations took place, they maintain that the Armenians were a rebellious element that had to be pacified during a national security crisis.
They acknowledge that some killing took place, but they counted that it was not initiated or directed by the government.
Countries, including Israel and Great Britain, have learned their fight to hold the events. Genocide in or their two events, harming their relation with Turkey.
The Ottoman rulers, like most of their subjects, were Muslims.
The Armenian genocide resulted in the destruction of more than 2 millennia of Armenian civilization. Together with the mass murder and the explosion of Syria and Greek, it's enabled the creation of an ethno-national Turkish state.
The Turkish government maintains that the deportation of Armenians was a legitimate action that cannot be described as genocide. As of 2020 to 31 countries have recognized the events as genocide, as to the West, the majority of historians.
In 2014, government officials in Turkey offered condolence to the Armenian victims, but Armenia remained committed to having the killings Clarin World War first recognized as a genocide.
100th anniversary of the Armenian genocide.
The genocide martyrs were recognized during a special service at the Mother See of Holy Rechniatsyn.
As to all the martyrs of Armenian genocide on April 23, 2015.
This made the holy martyrs of the Armenian genocide the first saints.
Canonizing the Armenian Church in 100 years.
With the canonization,
The Armenian Church news this day.
the commemoration of the holy martyrs.
The Armenian genocide
is celebrated on April 24.
For years, Armenian communities around the world commemorate each April 24 as Armenian Martyrs' Day, which they observe religious and cultural memorials. This continues to this day.
Turkey has steadily refused to recognize that events of 1915-1916 constitute a genocide, even though most historians have concluded that the deportation and massacres fulfill the definition of genocide, the international killing of an ethnic and religious group.
The first international reaction to the violence resulted in a joint statement by France, Russia, and Great Britain in May 1915, where the Turkish atrocities directed against the Armenian people was defined as new crime against humanity and civilization, agreeing that the Turkish government must be punished for committing such crimes.
No matter what happens,
The Armenians are always ready to defend their homeland.
To remain a nation.
With action culture.
We are Armenians. We remember and remain.
No matter what happens to us, no matter how they try to destroy us, our homeland, our culture, we still continue to live and prosper. Our ancestors died because they were Armenians. We, their descendants, are obliged to live and preserve our homeland.